So if you're online, please do share the video so that others will get a benefit to join in that case so that we all benefit from this actually in that line. I hope I can be heard loud and clear. I hope I can be heard. Yeah. So let's start by looking at what is ratio, and then we talk about proportion, and then there is some key questions that particular guide, and then we are done. We are done. We are done actually. So share the video so that others come to join as usual. Firstly, because of the breakage, that's why the breakage. That's why people were not able to have gone offline. So let's look at what is ratio. So when we talk about ratio, you are trying to compare two things. So let's say if I have, say A and then B. If I want to compare A and B, we say that there is this symbol called what? Other times in English you call it as what? Colon. But in math we call it as what? Ratio, right? We call it as what? Ratio. So if I want to compare A and B, I will say that A is to what? B. So ratios are used in business to compare what? Quantities, right? To know in terms of its characteristics, right? And its weight. I mean, for example, if I want to compare uh, money, money, right? Money is one key that we can compare. So let's say Mr. A has, let's say, 100 Ghana cedis, and let's say Mr. B has, let's say, uh, Mr. B has, let's say, 70 Ghana cedis. What is happening here? We can compare that A has a lot of money than Mr. What B. So ratios are used in business for what comparison purpose to know the characteristics among what different what quantities or different what objects, or it can even be in what can be in that line. So that is what a ratio. So if I have A is to B, it can also be written as what A over what B. Then we come back to what fraction, right? We come back to fraction where A is the numerator and B is what the denominator in that particular case. So that is the issue about what ratio. And when we talk about rate, we are just moving straight to rate. So when we talk about rate, rates are used in business to know, or for most cases, if we want to know in business, we want to know how much actually we have undertaken, let's say a work that we have undertaken, or how much production that we have engaged, right? And at what speed were we actually engaged in that production of good or a service or that work that we have rendered. So rate will help us to know that, okay, this is the amount of work that we have done. By how much? So rates are used in business to undertake or understand how much work has been done within the organization. So that is the issue about what rate. So when it comes to rate, we say that for us to calculate rate, we say rate or speed. One set of rate, you are talking about speed is equal to what? The amount of work that you engage, which is going to be what? The distance, right? The distance. Oh, sorry. Talking and talking about my board. Oh my goodness. I'm sorry about that. Okay. I thought my board is there, no knowing that I'm just talking and then my board is not on the screen. Oh my goodness. Oh, I love it. Today. Pressure. All right. So this is what we are saying. So as I was saying, the ratio is what I was talking about, where we are comparing what A and what B, right? So we said that we used what this sign or symbol, or that English we call it colon, to actually what denote what the ratio between two what quantities. And we said if I have A is to B, it can also be written as what A over what B. And we talk about rates, and we said that rates are used in business to determine amount of work that has been done and at what speed was such work done or production was engaged. So we said that actually to measure the speed of a work is going to be what the distance, that is the amount of work done, right? Divided by what? The time, the time engaged. So we talk about what? The amount of work done by the time factor in there. So that means that if I want to find the time that we used to spend on the work, we can say that time, just have to make change of subject. So I can say that my x initials, I can use x to be equal to what? D over what? T. So if I want to make T the subject, I want to know the time I spend on the work. All that I would do here is to say that, all that I would do here is to say that I'll make t the subject. So I'll do cross multiplication. T will multiply x, then 1 will multiply d. So that's going to give me what xt, and that should be equal to what d. So I want to make t the subject. I will divide both sides by x. Then we say that t should be equal to what d over what x, and then we are good to what go. So that is the issue about what the rate. If I also want to make what the distance, the subject, I can also do the same by using what change of subject. So that is the issue about what rate. And then when we talk about proportion, what is proportion? So proportion also help us to understand what the relationship between two what ratios. Proportion. It help us to understand the relationship between what two ratios. So actually they work in that line. They link together ratio, rate, and what proportion. So let's say I have a full orange like this. Then let's say I divide the orange into equal parts. Then I'll ask, let's say here represent A and here represent what B. Then I'll ask, what is the proportion of A's share of the orange? That is this part, right? So I can say the whole of this part represent the portion of what? Or the portion of what? It comes from the word portion of what? A. So that means that A has what? A is having what? 1 over 2. Likewise, this is what? Having what? 1 over 2. That defines the proportion, right? So the proportion and rate actually they work together in that particular line, right? But the goal here is that we need to have just a brief knowledge of how actually it helps in business decision actually, right? And then how we can actually deal with it in that line. So that is how come we most of the time need to have an idea, not necessarily the detail of it, but just an idea of what we need to know going forward. So that is the issue about ratio, the proportion, and then the rate, respectively, that we need to know. Or we need to know in that guide. So now we are done. We can take a question and see how far we can what flow in that line. Let's see, let's see, let's see, let's see. So if you have any questions, you can drop in the comment or the chat box so that we'll take it from there. Thank you for joining us today on this live section. All right. Uh, Okay. So, any question? Any question? Any question for me? Any question? If there are no questions, we can flow like that. We can flow like that. We can flow like that. Any question? So if there are no questions, let's try. We're going to try these questions out. So generally, that is what we need to know when it comes to the overview. The issue about fraction, why we said fraction are used business to represent quantities, and we said fraction is in the form of a over b, where a is the numerator and b is the denominator. Sorry, and then we talk about decimals, and we said that decimals is actually they are numbers that is being separated by what a dot, right? And we said that decimals are also used in business to represent quantities, which cannot be represented as what as whole numbers. We talk about that and even go on to say that why is it that always fraction cannot have a denominator of 0? And I think some of you were able to drop an answer in section 1 where they said that when you have a fraction with a denominator of 0, it is what undefined. And from there we're able to look at equation. We said that equations basically are used in business to understand how we can deal with one particular situation in different ways, but we are going to achieve the same result. That's what we talk about under equations. And we actually solve some examples there. And we also look at percentage. We said that percentages are also used to represent quantities in business. So at times, if you want to find the margin of a particular quantity, for example, the profit of a business, if you want to know how much the business are making in terms of profit in percentage, we can do that convert. So we also learn how we can convert what actual figures to percentage and also from percentage to actual figures, right? So we talk about all this, and then today we wrap up by looking at ratio, rate, and proportion. And we said that ratio, where we try to compare what two things, and we use Mr. A and B in terms of the amount of money that they have. That if A have A and B have what if A have 700 Ghana, sorry, and B have what 70 Ghana, we can clearly compare the two and to see that A has enough money down that of what B, and that's why we established under ratio. And we said that rates in business are actually employed to help us to understand how much of work that has been done and at what speed. And we said that the rate should always be equal to the distance, that is the amount of work done, taking into account the time spent on that particular work. And we wrap up by looking at the latter part, which is what the proportion. And we said that proportion is actually the comparison of what two ratios. And I use an orange in the situation for Mr. A and what B. And we said that if I should divide this orange and we are sharing for Mr. A and B, that means that A will get what 1/2 and B will get what 1/2. So proportion that I use, it is a comparison of two ratios, and most of the time we make to ensure that they are equal. So if I have, let's say, A is as a result of, let's say, X over Y, and let's say B is as a result of, let's say, C over D, then we can actually do have a proportion here. We can say that if X over Y is equal to uh, C over D, we can compare. But we said that proportions, we are talking about what using ratios to actually understand two different what quantities. So more like proportion to also talking about comparison, but here we are taking into account ratios that we are comparing. So that's what the proportion. And this picture actually summarizes proportion, where we take into account A having half part of the orange and B also having half part of what the orange. So that is the issue that we need to understand going forward. So that is that with all that we need when it comes to the overview and the nature. So if you have any question, you can drop in the chat box for us going forward in that particular case. I hope that is fine. All right, so let's take some question and see how far we can delve with it in that line. And I think last time we were solving some questions, but we couldn't finish. So let's see if we can continue with that here. Okay, so let's say I can divide it like this, if it is possible. How it's supposed to be. Yeah. So let me hold it like this so that I can use. So this is what we were solving the last time. So this was part of what the first part of the video. So you can go through because we have discussed all these things from there. So I think we're able to solve question 1 and then question 2. So let's continue from question 3 and see how far we can go. And I think the latter part of it, I was trying to raise an announcement that we have started our executive master class on these courses. So if you want to enroll, this is my contact. You can see and then send us WhatsApp. It's just, I mean, 370 Ghana, very affordable for for the whole semester. I mean, you are just paying 370 for the whole semester. Very affordable for the courses here. So if you are interested, you can send us message on WhatsApp on this number, or I'll also write off for you going. I mean, towards the end of the video, so that you, if you are interested, you can text me and then we arrange for that. And I think our timetables also, you can also use that to guide you in that line. Okay, so let's start with our question discussion and see how far we can go. Let me bring this up so that that will be okay for us going forward. I think that will be cool. More than this. Okay, so let's see so that we can flow in that manner. Mm. So you are moving on to question number 3. But before that, let me bring up this. Let me raise this off and then see. So going for, you have any question, you can ask so that will help you to understand everything in that line. So let's move on to question number 3. I hope you can see it well. Let me try to do some adjustment here so that we get it done in that line. Mhm. Okay, man, check this. All right. Okay, so okay, that's fine. Right. So let's look at question number 3. It says that Kojovi worked at a local store for 14 Ghana an hour after lectures. So after lectures, he go to work for 14 an hour. Sorry, 14 Ghana cedi an hour. Say 14 an hour. My goodness. So let's continue. It says that he works 4 hours each Monday then uh Tuesday, Wednesday, and then Thursday. So this is the rate of Kojovi, the rate, the amount that he's being received. So here you are linking, you are trying to have the issue about rate coming in here. But wait, is that Kojovi work at a local store for what? An amount of what? 14 what? Ghana Cedi an hour after lectures. He worked 4 hours each Monday. I hope you can see that part. Okay, thank God. Sorry. Okay, so he worked at the local store. He works 4 hours each Monday, right? Then each Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Let's go. Then he said that he worked 2 hours each Friday and 7 hours each what Saturday. How many weeks does Ojovi have to work to earn what 2,400 and what 50? So this is how most of the time the question is going to give you a lot of stories, but just take carefully. They are not difficult actually. So we have been given the amount. Please to make reduce it. Let's go for 20. Okay. So we have been given amount for what? Which is what? 2,400 and what? 50. Okay. And then we have been given the hours that you work during what? The week. So we can start. He works for 4 hours each Monday. So Monday, so let me list out uh, it here. So let's say we have Monday, Tuesday, then Wednesday, Thursday. So Monday is 4, Tuesday is 4, Wednesday is 4, then Thursday is what? 4. So it's just an addition. Okay. And he works what? 2 hours each on Friday. So Friday is what? 2. Friday is 2. And 7 hours each Saturday. So Saturday is what? 7. Saturday is 7. Okay. There's no Sunday as part of it. So that one you don't take into account. So what is happening here? Let's find the total. Let's find the total. So what are we getting? Pastor Sandy, you can drop your answer there for me. The total. So we have what? So 1, 2, 3, 4. That's going to give me 16, right? Plus 2, plus what? 7. That's going to give me what? 25. So in total is what? 25. 25, Now we have been given an amount of what? 2,400 and what? 50, right? 2,450. 2,450. And they are asking us how many weeks does Kojovi have to work to earn what? 2,450. So that means that for every week, the hours that you spend is what? 25 what? Hours. And then you are saying that per hourly rate is what? 14. So we can do this simple calculation. So that means that if we have the total hours for a week, just for a week for the V is what? 25. We can multiply this by what? For so that we know the weekly amount that you obtain for working for 20 hours, 25 hours, sorry. So we can say that 14, I believe you can see my calculator. Yeah, I think it's supposed to be saying 14 multiplied by 25. We are going to get what? 350, right? We are going to get 350. We are going to get 350. So now what is happening here? So we are going to get what? 350. So in total for per week, so for 1 week, so let's say per week cost, let me write it like this. Per week is making what? 25 multiplying what? 14 Ghana. And we are getting what? I had a total of what? 350. So if you are having a total of 350, that means that for every week, he can earn what? 350 Ghana cedis. And we have been given a total of what? 2,450. And they're asking us how many weeks can he work to get what? That 2,450. So once we know the amount of money that he earns every week, we can start with our proportion. If more or less divide, so we come back and say that, okay, if 1 week is equal to, or let's say let's start like this. If 350 Ghana is equal to 1 week, right? Then what will be 2,450? That is a simple trick in here. Proportion. If more, less divide. If less, more divide. So it is more, right? So less going to be divided. So that's going to give us what? 2,450 divided by 350. Okay. And then multiply by what? 1. Isn't it? Yeah. So what are we getting at the end of the day? So let me bring my calculator. Fastest hand. You need to be very fast in the examination conditions so that you can attempt almost all the questions. So 2,450 divided by 350. What are we getting? We are getting exactly what? 7. So that means that you need to work for 7 weeks before you can earn what? 2,400 and what? 50. 2,400 and what? 50. It's very, very important that you know that. So that is the issue about this particular question. So if you have any question, you can drop it there so that we'll take it from there. Okay, I see some chat here saying that I can't hear you all. Oh, really? I'm even shouting here. I hope I can be heard. I hope I can be heard. Someone is saying he can't hear me well. Shouting. Not true. Is that true? Is that true? So that I can check things out here. Let's see, so that I can attend to it. Because I'm supposed to hear everything. I hope I can be heard, right? Just want to confirm something. No, I think I can be heard. I think everything, so you can check your mic, sorry, your phone, the volume rather. You can check the volume so that we can take it from there. I think it was Cookies Pages, the name even. And I think Kojeje said the answer is 7. I think that is correct, right? Yeah, that is correct. All right. So let's continue. Let's continue. Please do all to share the video and like it as well. Okay. All right. So question 4. It goes like this. It says a drum contains what? 64 gallons of water. If the tube empties in 4 minutes, now we are bringing the rate to. What is the rate of flow? Now you see, what is the rate of flow of the water per what? Minute? He said a drum contains 64 gallons of water. Then he's saying that if the tube empties in 4 minutes, what is happening here? What is the rate? So that means that the actual work or the actual amount of gallon, so that's going to more like the distance is what? 64. And for every 4 minutes, it empties. So that is the time factor here, which is what? 4 minutes. So you're saying that what is the rate of flow? So we are talking about the speed. What is the rate of flow of the water per minute? That's very, so that means that here we can say that we know our D to be the distance to be equal to what? 64 gallons of water, right? And then we have our T to be equal to what? 4 minutes. So we are asking us the X or the rate. So the rate is going to be what? Our distance over time. But here we are told to find the rate in per minute one. That's what we're going to use. If we were to be hours, we'd have converted the 4 minutes to what? Hours before we can work with what? The distance. But so far as we're told of what? Per minute, we're just going to work with the per minute and that's it. Okay. So straight out we can say that here it should be equal to what? 64 divided by 4, and we are getting what? 4 divided by 64, I think we are getting 16. Let's see. I think it's 16. This one there. 64 divided by 4. Yeah, 16. And you get your answer in that line. So that is that. That is that. That is that. That is that. All right. So let's move on to the next set of question. Then question 5. Let's try this question for me and let's see. Fastest hand, drop your answer in the comment section or the chat box so that bring you up. Let me check to have something here. Mm-hmm. Bring this up. Okay. So let's see. So that you drop your answer in the chat box so that we go in that line. So he said that Lutugua was paid what? 4,880 for working 8 weeks in a mine. At this rate of pay, how much money will he make if he works for 4 months? Listen, oh, he's saying that Lutugua was paid what? 4,800 and what? 80 for working for 8 weeks in a mine. At this rate of pay, follow carefully. How much money will he make if he works for 4 months? You ask yourself, how many weeks make a month? You see, these are the things that you need to know because once you are not conversant with these simple tricks, you think that, oh, these things are difficult. They are not difficult. Okay? So you ask yourself, how many weeks are in a month? We know that we have 4 weeks in a month. We have 4 weeks in a month. 4 weeks in a month. So that means that since we are having 8 weeks and he is getting what 4,800 and what 80, that means that he worked for 2 months to get to had what to have what that of what 4,880. He actually worked for 2 months, and that was fetching him 4,880. So he tell us that since 8 weeks is approximately equal to what? Approximately equal to 2 months. 2 months. Then he had what 4,880. So what will be 4 months on? What will be 4 months on? So he tell us that if 2 months, if more or less divide approach comes in here, if 2 months is equal to what 4,880, 4 months is more like what? Twice of this. And we just have to be smart here. So 4 is going to give us what? 4/2 multiplying what? 4,880. If you have any question, drop in the chat box and let's see. So here, 4 divided by 2, we are getting 2. So we have 4,880 multiplying 2. Multiplying. So you see, here these things, I mean, they are funny though, but you see, when you read it, you can clearly see that 8 weeks is for 2 months. So a sharp person will see that okay, if this is 2 and we are getting this, what will be 4? 4 is twice of this, and just multiply by 2, and that's it, right? So it's actually that simple. You won't work so much if you can use calculator to get your answer. And yeah, done. So we had what, which is 9,760, and that's it. Very simple. Okay. Then question number 6. Muhammad Mustafa owns, or somebody is able to drop an answer in the chat for me. Okay, let's flow. Muhammad Mustafa owns a nursery. This year he sold what? 195 more roses bushes than he did last year. This represents 12% increase over the previous year. So the question is that this year Muhammad sold what? 195 what? Roses. And they are saying that this represents what 12% what increase. This represents 12% what increase over the last year. So that means that for last year, we can say that last year's amount that you sold is 100%, right? It's 100%. And this year is what 12% increase over the last year. So that means that in total, last year's on was 100%. That means that if you want to know the amount of roses that you have sold for this year, we are going to add the 12% increase together with the last year's, and we get to know currently the amount that you sold what this year. But the question is asking us how much did Mustafa actually sold? How much rose bushes did Mustafa Nezri sell last year? So that is the question they are asking us. That is the question they are asking us. So we can clearly say that the 12% here represents what? The 195. So 12% is equal to what? The 195. So how do we go by this then? How do we go by this? Let's use our calculator and let's see. So we can say that if last year's one is 100%, this year is what? Just 195. Is that simple? So we can say that if 12 is equal to this, what will be 100? Is that possible? Let's see if we can get something from there. So we have what? 100 divided by 12 multiplying what 195. Yeah, remember here I'm just the percentage will cancel the percentage. So if 12 is equal to what, if 12% is equal to 195, that will be 100%. So 100% we're also going to be what, 100 over 12. Remember the percent will cancel the percent. So we are not doing percentage again, and then multiply by what, 195, because we were told that the 195 represent 12% increase for what, that of last year's. So if 12% is equal to 195, that means that for last year was 100%, is that you sold 100% of roses. And that's going to give us what? A total of what? For last year, so we're going to get a total of what? 1,600 and what? 25. Then you are done. So is that actually very simple that you can look at in that line? Any question for me? Any question for me? Yeah, so sorry about the interaction that we had, because I don't know, my camera were messing me up, and then I mean it was out of control, so I needed to do something. I think even the previous video we scheduled, we ended it and we started a new one. That is why most people couldn't able to join. But I hope that if you are watching the playback, any distraction that happened at the beginning, you pardon us, and then going forward, things will be put in place so that you have what a sharing environment to actually learn in that case. Right. So that is what we need to understand when it comes to overview and nature of business mathematics. So any question? Any question for me? If you have any question, you can drop it in the comment section so that we'll take it from there. Any question for me? If there are no questions, I'm just going to leave you some questions. Go and try on your own. And you can, if you want to send it to me on as a WhatsApp Telegram, it's just search for my name and then you get there and send it to me directly. But as I said, we have opened an enrollment for our executive masterclass. So if you want to join to get a full access to the courses from the overview and nature to the last part, that is I think business and consumer behavior, you can enroll for 370 Ghana cedis. So there's the number 050 050 978. Test us on WhatsApp or you give us a call, and then we know the course you want to enroll, then we can have that discussion going forward. Because I think those who registered last year, students who registered, most of them they had this, they saw the effect and the benefit of their enrolling on the course, and actually it really helped them. Some of them had great A's. They made it actually a good way. So if you are interested, you can test us or WhatsApp us here. And then for 370 for the semester, that is a one-time payment. Once you are done, you enjoy our lectures, live Zoom section. You get access to solving practical questions with the exam related questions as well with us. You get a recorded session. You can watch a playback of it. I mean, that's what I'm trying to say. And other many things that you get. You also get access to solve more questions with us in that line. So all of these things go for 370 for a semester. It's actually very affordable, one-time payment, and you are done. So if you're interested, you can send us a message on WhatsApp so that we'll actually add you on the page once you make payment, and that's it. All right. So if there are no questions for me, okay, I said I will leave you some questions. Go and try, then we'll know what to do going forward. The last question is that, please, can you resolve the last question? Which last question? Kufia J, which last question are you talking about? Which last question are you talking about? Are you talking about question six? Yeah, question six. We said that Mohammed Mustafa owned a nursery, and he's saying that this year he sold 195 more roses than he did last year. And they are saying that this 195 that he sold is what, in terms of percentage, is what, 12%, right? So if this is an increase, 12% increase over the last year's own, that means that in total, we know that in total percentage is out of 100. So for us to get an increase means that there's something that is above 100. And for sure, it will mean that last year's own is 100%. That is the idea behind. And so therefore, if 12% is equal to 195, what would be 100%? So it is what, if more or less divide approach. So this is what we are talking about. So if 12% is equal to 195, what would be 100%? So it is more, right? So let's divide by 12 is less. So it becomes what, 100. The percent will cancel. Divide by 12, multiplying what, 195. So with the help of your calculator, when you key it, you're supposed to get what, 1625, I guess. Sorry, 1625. It's not in Ghana cities, though. This is just in quantity. So it's in quantity rather. So 1,625 roses that you sold for uh last year, right? So that is with that. That is with that. That is with that. You can take a screenshot of this question. Let's see if I have it here. Yeah. Let me zoom it. Try solve them, and then you can submit it on Telegram if you wish to. Right? Or we should solve it. Should you have to solve it? If you want us to solve it, drop your chat in the comment section. I just wanted to give it for you, go and try, but you want us to solve it? You want us to solve it? If you want us to solve it, let me see in the comment section. If not to then, I can give it to you and you go and try. Go and try. I mean, they are simple questions that you can work with in that line. Should you have to solve it or you go and try? Let me check. Oh, they are not talking, no. Hey, you people. Should you have to solve it or you go and try? Hmm. Let me hear from you. Okay, then, since no feedback, take a screenshot of this. Oh, come on. Let me zoom it for you. You can send your answers to me on Telegram at Selabi. Or better still, you can join our Telegram page on with the name Labi Premium Labi Premium University. University, I can't spell it. Yeah, some. That's Labi Premium University, and then you locate me. I'm the admin on the page. You locate me after you have solved it. You can send your answers to me so that I can look it. I mean, look at it for you. Sorry, look at it for you, and then we flow. Oh, let me use this command section so that you can see clearly. Mhm. So that is that. Take a screenshot of it and then you try on your own, send it to me on Telegram. Telegram, oh, don't send to me on WhatsApp. That one, when you send it, the idea here is that you want to enroll in our classes. That's what we're going to discuss. So just send to me on Telegram. Join our page on Telegram and then send to me so that we get it done. I hope you have taken a screenshot of the first four questions. Then let me add. uh, Okay, next one, 5 to, okay, 5 to 7, just 7 questions. All right, so that is that. So we'll end here for today. Thank you so much for joining and your patience for, waiting and joining this live session. So everything that happened at the beginning, we are so sorry for that, and we're hoping that in future it won't happen again. So thank you so much for joining us today on this section. So if it was really helpful to you there, then you need to subscribe to it and like the video and share as well, so that we get to reach as many students as possible on this channel. Thank you so much, and I will see you in the next section. Bye bye.